Hi guys, hitting you up with a new video of an update on my 2017 Camaro that I named Blue. So this car is 2 years and 4 months old now, and a big journey from those 2 years and 4 months. So let me go over a little bit backstory. I used to live in Northeast Ohio, where this car was exposed to the winter for 2 years and 3 months. I just moved to Florida a month ago, a little less than a month ago, and loving it ever since. And that's in a different video. You can see my reason why. Anyways, so the car, it has held up pretty well. The only major thing that I've ever had issues with this, let me go over backstory what Blue is. She is a 2017 Chevy Camaro V6 RS 2LT. So it's a fully loaded car. It has every bell and whistle except for a sunroof and the quad exhaust, which I wish I had, which I can always add on one day, but that's not a necessity because I use this car as a daily driver. It has over 26,000 miles on it now. The only major issue I've ever had with the car was I have the 8-speed auto. And if anyone knows, you can Google this as well. And this is for anybody, if you have a 8-speed auto GM car, get this checked out. So if you have the active field management cars. So allow me to go over the main issue I've ever had with this car, the shutter issue. So if you have a shutter issue, and what I mean is when you're driving down the highway, it has to be 55 miles per hour and up. And you'll feel like your car is like going over rumble strips. And if you look at a tachometer, you'll see your RPMs fluctuate while the rumble is going on. That's when you know you have the shutter issue, the infamous shutter issue. Which, if you have that, there's a new TSB that came out at the beginning of this year of 2019. You need to get that done. And if that doesn't fix it, you need to get your torque converter replaced. Get it all done while it's under warranty. Because we don't know what the effects of it, if the transmission is going to last the entire length of the car. That's something that I will say is a weakness of this car, is the 8-speed auto. I don't have a full confidence in this car when it comes to the 8-speed auto. So, and of course, it's the transmission, so that's the most important part of the car, which is going to be the most expensive part of the car if it ever breaks. And by that point, if it ever breaks, I might just have to get a new car. Knock on wood, I hope I never have to deal with that. So that's something that's a weak point of this car, is the transmission. The 8-speed auto it's a weakness. So always kind of keep that in mind and this is in my particular car. This is in every GM car that has an 8-speed auto. So otherwise, everything else in the car has held up pretty well. I've had some issues with the MyLink with Apple CarPlay. Sometimes it would just kind of not work. Like the goofiest issue on planet Earth, and then when you turn off the car and turn it back on, it'd work fine. Like I said, new cars are mostly like computers. And turn it off, turn it back on, fixes the issue most of the time. Lighting strip, I had one issue once, long time ago, where it just didn't work. But then I turned the car off and came back the next day and it worked fine. So otherwise, the only other issues I ever really had was with leather. So I don't know what it is, but GM or AC Delco's leather, or pleather, it's not really leather, it's pleather. I don't know if it's cheap or if it just, I know like part of it was I didn't take care of it for the first year correctly. I was using not a good leather cleaner. I was using kind of a cheap one. But otherwise, it was, I don't know. I've noticed in a lot of GM's products, their leather or pleather is not the best. And I'll show you what I mean. So I don't know if you can see it in this video, but you might be able to. See this like shiny part? Yeah, that happens. I don't know how. I'm going to have to get this replaced, but in order to replace this, it replaces the whole door panel. Under warranty, of course. Thank God. Get everything replaced. Under warranty. It's the best thing ever. So if there's something wrong with your car, get it replaced. So that might get replaced sometime in the near future. The center console had to get replaced. It had the same stain issue. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it was from me using the wrong stuff on it, but it stained and it looked awful. So that happened. I had to get my steering wheel replaced like a month ago. It was cracking right in here, mostly on the bottom of the brim. This is a brand new steering wheel, so obviously it's not no cracks in it. I had to get the seat cushion replaced, my driver's seat cushion. It was cracking as well. It was cracking on these bolsters here. That was about a year ago. I got that replaced. Otherwise, leather. Oh, my headrest got replaced because it had the same problem with this shiny bit for some odd reason. Otherwise, that was all I've ever got replaced on the interior of the car that, you know, I had an issue with. Those are the minor ones. Besides, the transmission was a major one. Otherwise, the V6 itself, strong. Never had an issue with it ticking, knocking, anything like that. Knock on some wood. Starts up every day. I did have my key fob battery go bad right before I moved to Florida, and that was interesting. I got the battery replaced, and it works fine now. Otherwise, no mechanical issues, no nothing electrical needed replaced yet. So just the leather surfaces, I don't know, just like, I don't know if it's just the leather surfaces are just cheap. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't know, GM. You need to up the quality. It looks good. It looks really cool, and it looks modern. It looks really luxurious, but I don't know, man. It doesn't hold up. That's something I would comment on. The cooled seats, the ventilated seats, not cooled seats, they are very weak, and they're basically used, like they barely work. Just so you know. If you live in a hot climate like I do in Florida, they're pretty much useless. Just gonna be honest there. But it's whatever. Air conditioning, they do a lot of my climate control, works pretty well. Keep it at 77. Fine with me. So, otherwise, that's it for the interior surfaces of the car. Everything else is pretty much held up. I had one rattle back here. Let me point the camera correctly. Back there in this pillar. But I found it was just the panel popped a little bit, and I popped it back in, the rattle went away. Otherwise, no rattles, nothing like that. So, otherwise, over 2 years, everything's been pretty good. Oil changes every 5,000 miles. I use Mobil One for religiously for the oil. And it's going to need new tires probably in a year or two. A year and a half, because the all-season Goodyear all-seasons asymmetric F1s that come with the car, they're pretty good. And like I said, I drove in the winter with them. They worked, but the tread life on them is kind of crap. So be warned that like the tread life doesn't last maybe 30,000 miles, and you're gonna have to get new tires. And they're run flats. So and I'll go over the ride quality, I guess, in this part of the video. So this part, like this is the sport suspension, the standard suspension. It has 20-inch wheels, and it has run flats. And it's rough. When I was living in Ohio, it was pretty rough. I dodged every pothole possible. When I hit even like cracks in the pavement, I felt a lot of it. You don't feel everything, but it's doable, but you feel it. So that's something I would kind of say, you know, and especially with the run flats with those tires, man, they're rough. They're pretty rough. So that's something I would advise anyone that, you know, when you're getting the RS package, you know, be advised, if you live in a really, really rough place, and like I did, but I knew I wasn't living there permanently, so that's why I never switched them out. But I would switch them out for 18-inch wheels with good all-season tires if you're living in a climate that has crappy roads with winters. So otherwise, you know, the snow and ice mode, all those modes worked really fine. I never had any issues with it. I never got stuck in this car. And that's crazy, right? But no, I never got stuck with this car. I was actually probably the one of the people that wasn't stuck, and everyone else was stuck. Like I said, mechanical, nothing really. But all right, let's go to the outside of the car, and I'll go over some little paint issues that I had with the car. And like I said, I curbed one wheel, and don't curb a wheel on the 20-inch rims, man. They're expensive to replace. But let me go to the outside of the car, and I'll get right back to you. ULT. And I've only done some small modifications, like I said. I did the blackout for the bow tie, blackout for the RS symbols in the front and the back. That's a standard exhaust. Otherwise, nothing really crazy. I'll show you just the highlights of issues that I've had with the paint. So GM's paint is okay. It's not amazing though. It's not super reliable. So this is your rocker panel. It's plastic. It's just a cover basically. This gets, I don't know if you can see it very well, but see this white? This is literally chips, mini chips that basically sawdust peppers that destroy this part of the car. Even with the OEM mud flaps. And those aren't cheap either. Those are $275. it still gets chipped. And thank God it's plastic, so you can always just sand it down and get it sand down and repainted. If my advice, if you're buying a brand new one, what I would do, if it's perfect, I wouldn't do it to mine right now, not until I repaint it. This is the PPF that comes with the car from GM. It is completely crap. It also turns white, especially in this region. I don't know if it's easy to see because of the shine, but oh man, it definitely get this PPF. Get as much of the car PPF as you can afford. I made that mistake. I was cheap and I didn't do it, and look now I have to get this repainted. Otherwise, nothing crazy. Like I said, the paint is kind of thin, so it can scratch pretty easy. Like there's a scratch here. It's a clear coat scratch. But I even polished a lot of scratches out of the car, but at the end of the day, the paint quality is okay. Wheels. This is a new wheel, so let me find one that's probably from when I first bought the car. My wheels are kind of dirty too. So here we are. So here, see all these little chips? The ones that are not brushing away from my finger, like that one right there. Those are chips from winter. And if you live in a place that has a bad winter, I don't right now. I live in Florida, but when I lived in Ohio, that's where these got beat up. And let me tell you, switch these out for 18-inch wheels there in the winter, because mine got beat up really bad. And just do it. You won't regret it, because these are $630 rims to replace. So that's otherwise everything. Saw something I thought was, as you're hearing, people are coming back from their jobs. It's 5 o'clock. Well, it's actually 6 now. But anyways, so these are the Goodyear all-season asymmetric off-1 tires. They're pretty good. I still have some tread life left, but they're going to need replaced in the coming maybe year and a half. I definitely wouldn't advise anyone to get these. I would advise, if you are going to get new tires for this car, I would go with the Michelin Pilot Sports 3 Plus. That's just me though, because these ones are run flats and they are hard and they don't last super long, according to what a lot of people say. And like I said, otherwise exterior, everything hasn't, no rust, nothing like that, because it's been well taken care of. Blacked out bow tie, blacked out RS badge on the bottom. This is coming off from my next dealership. I'm gonna have them drill it out, because they drilled it in, and you can't unscrew it because these are rivets. So, warning, you have to drill the rivets out, and I'm gonna have the dealership do it, because if they screw it up, they have to pay for it. Anyways, this gets pretty chipped up pretty bad. It's hard to see. Like I said, my car is pretty lucky, but it can get chipped up pretty bad. On this chin here, I call it, hood wise, it can get chipped. So be prepared to get this painted like at the 100,000 miles. Same with those rockers. Those are also gonna have to get repainted at 100,000 miles or whatever. Otherwise, that's it for the exterior. Next thing up, I gotta get this car tinted. Living in Florida right now, it's basically winter. Yeah, winter when it's 75 degrees, but right now it's winter, so it's not hot anymore. But that's something that I would advise: get your windows tinted if you live in a hot climate, or any climate in general, because tinted windows look good. Exterior wise, what I want to get done is I want to get these to the clear. They're the clear / black, and it looks better than this red, personally. I do want to get the factory exhaust taken off one day. I'm probably going to switch over to the factory quad exhaust or an aftermarket quad exhaust, because I think that looks so much cooler. I'd have to take this rear fascia off, which is really easy. It's all panel clips, and it just pops right off. Like, I thought it looked like it popped off right there, but it didn't. And otherwise, that's everything. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you, and subscribe.